I've been visiting heaven since I was 12 years old. But one thing that really annoys me that I've had to let go of about my gift is that I can't see all the colors that are apparently in heaven. My name's Dakota Lee. I have a gift to see in the spirit. I'm also a professional animal communicator, and as I said, God started letting me visit heaven when I was 12 years old. When I was 12, and Jesus took me up to visit heaven for the very first time. I have that story posted in my profile, and it's pinned, so take a look at that. But it was the most beautiful, beautiful experience, just feeling God's presence. And for the first, I don't know, weeks, months, I don't know, however long that I went to go back to visit heaven and he kept letting me come, I just stayed in the throne room. After time, God started to let me venture out of the throne room to go visit other parts of heaven. And sometimes he let me go even maybe without Jesus right there to hold my hand. Now it's all safe in heaven, so it's all fine, but I like having Jesus there. But instead of it just being me by myself, God gave me another buddy, I guess I'll say. God introduced me to a horse in heaven. A horse, he had wings, and what God told me is that he is a warrior horse. And I recognized him. He had actually been with me my whole life, and that's another story. And his name is Shakishus, which took me, oh my gosh, the first day I met him, it took me almost 10 minutes to learn how to say his name properly. But God gave me a horse to go explore heaven with. So he taught me how to ride, and we got to fly all over heaven. And one day, I was probably 13, 14 years old. We were out flying over the ocean, and we had just flown up against some seaside cliffs. And as we're flying, the water is radiantly blue and shimmering up towards us. I looked down at what was essentially the coastline, this rocky cliff coastline, and there was a little cutout where there was a stream coming out, and it had been a canyon that was leading onto a beach and then into the ocean. And as I looked beside this stream that had cut a canyon, I saw there was a herd of not just horses grazing, but unicorns. Now, why would there be unicorns in heaven? Did God create unicorns? But sometimes when there is such a good idea that people have, or an idea that many people hold very dear to them, God will turn that idea into a reality. And he had done it with these unicorns in heaven. So you can still be creating things in heaven. I looked at this herd of unicorns, and I talked to Shakishus, the white horse that I'm riding, and I say, oh my gosh, look at those white unicorns. And Shakishus, while he's flying, he turns his head, he looks at me, and he goes, white? And I go, yes. And he goes, they're not white. And I just go, oh. And we fly on past the canyon, keep going. And he's quiet for a moment, and then he turns his head to the other side, and he goes, what color do you think I am? And I go, white. And he says back, I will still never forget how he said it. He said it with like as close to disgust as you could get. I am not white. And I go to Shakishus, I say, well, what color are you? And he goes, not white. And so we keep flying forward, and I ask him, can you please show me what color you are? And I swear we both try. I like stared really hard at his mane. My hands were holding in his mane. I stared really hard at his mane, and I looked at him, and it's like I saw this flash of a bunch of colors come through, honestly. Like, it started with just this almost like a shiny black, but then within that was like a rainbow of colors. I've seen it in a particular kind of like man-made rock before, like a rainbow within black. And it flashed over his mane and his color for just a second, and then things returned to white. So later, when I go talk to God and Jesus about this, back in the throne room, I said, how have I not known that my white horse, Shakishus, is not white? How could I miss this? How come I can't see that? And what God had to explain to me was, Dakota, you are not fully here in heaven. Only part of your spirit is. And because only part of your spirit is, then you only get to experience part of heaven. So I tried for a long time to ask God, can you please just show me one extra color? I just want to see one extra color. And I don't think my brain can compute what he has tried to show me, but he has tried. And it still just comes in as the colors I already know on the rainbow. But that being said, I have been visiting heaven, and there are Pegasus-style horses and unicorns and a beautiful ocean and the people that we love and our pets go there, and it is all the beautiful things you've heard about heaven and so much more. If you're interested in stories like these, as wild as they can get, then hit follow, because God has so much more for us prepared than we can even comprehend. And I'm excited to show you what he has shown me.